Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be doing, as you can probably see in the title, my updated my governor prediction for July. I'll do a Senate one probably in the next few days, but this is the governor's one. So we're going to start in by filling all the safe red states, Oklahoma. Uh, we're going to go back and talk about some of them in a second. South Carolina and Alaska will probably be safe, as will Massachusetts and Vermont because of Phil Scott and Charlie Baker. Idaho, I hope that the guy who's like the anti-government militia guy, I really hope he's the nominee. I really hope he wins. That'd be really awesome. Wyoming, it's gonna go red. South Dakota, Kristi Noem. I think she's all right. I used to like her a lot more about a year ago during the whole COVID stuff, but after the whole um, issues with her opinion on biological men in women's sports, kind of lost my opinion on her, and she just kind of she had a lot of excitement around the last 4th of July, and it's kind of just fizzled out. But she'll still win re-election. Nebraska, safe red. Oklahoma, safe red. Arkansas, I do hope Sarah Huckabee is the nominee. She'll win easily. Alabama, Kay Ivey, really turning the state around. She will win there as well. And South Carolina and Tennessee, safe red states. Now we're going to fill in the safe blue states. Oregon and California, no matter what happens with the Newsom recall, California is still going to be safe blue. Colorado probably and New Mexico probably will as well. Illinois might be a few points closer depending on turnout, but it's still going to be safe blue. Um, as probably are all of these states here. Rhode Island could be a bit closer, but it's probably still going to be safe just because my margins are a little weird compared to some other political YouTubers. While New York is going to be safe even with Cuomo's scandals. So with that, we have 19 Republican safe seats and 16 Democrat safe seats. So now we're going to go east to west and fill in everything. Instead of Maine, I think Janet Mills is going to hang on by a lean margin. I think it's going to be much closer. As you may have seen in my Maine video, I do think Maine is going red, and the Republicans have a pretty popular governor, Paul Lee Page, I believe his name is, and he is. I don't know much about him, but he was a former governor who's pretty popular, so he'll make it a little closer. But I think Janet Mills will hang on. In the state of New Hampshire, that's a tilt our state. I do think Chris Sununu is going to run for the Senate seat, which means that Kelly Ayotte, I think her name is, she could easily run. She could easily run for the um, governor's position. I think if she does, I think as long as Sununu um, is stays popular and as long as he campaigns with another Republican, even if he runs for the Senate, it will stay Republican, but by a much thinner margin. Um, Virginia, I'm going to put that as likely. I think Youngkin is a good candidate. I think he'll make it close. But, I mean, Virginia's this close to being gone, like a safe Democrat state, overwhelmingly. So I'm going to put it as likely because I think Youngkin can make it just under 10, maybe 7, 8, 9 points, somewhere around there. Pennsylvania, I do think, is going to be a tilt D state. The Republicans certainly have the advantage in the Senate race, but in the governor's race, the advantage goes to the Democrats. Um, Pennsylvania is like kind of like a it's of the Rust Belt. You got Wisconsin is kind of leaning Republican, Michigan's kind of leaning Democrat, and Pennsylvania is pretty much just a pure toss up of the Rust Belt states. These three at least. So I'm going to put Pennsylvania as tilting Democrat, just because I think it'll be very close, probably like 0.5. But I do think the Democrats have an advantage. In the state of Ohio, my great home state, Jim Renesse is gonna primary Mike DeWine hopefully, and he'll win by a likely margin, probably 7, 8 points. Maybe even he might even outperform Trump. To be honest, he might win it by a safe margin. I'm gonna put it as likely, but I'd say Jim Renesse, if he primaries DeWine, he's probably gonna win by 9 points. If DeWine is the nominee, I think it's a bit closer because Republicans aren't gonna turn out for him, but he still wins probably by about 6. Michigan, this is going to be kind of a shocker, but I do think that the Detroit police chief, James Craig, I do think he is the one candidate who can beat Gretchen Whitmer, and if he runs a good campaign, which I believe he will, I think he's going to narrowly win Michigan, and Michigan's going to be one of the closest races, and I think it's going to be a highly anticipated one, and I think James Craig is going to be an amazing next governor of the state. We look at Wisconsin. Like I said, it's kind of going red. I think it's going to be lean Republican. Their governor there, I'm not sure if he's term limited, but he is decently popular, I believe. And even then, it's just going red anyway. So I do think it's going to be a lean Republican state. Meanwhile, Minnesota, I'm going to put as lean Democrat. I think in a red wave year, excuse me, it'll be under 5, but the Democrats are still going to hang on, probably by about 4 points. Um, in Iowa, Kim Reynolds, she'll probably win by a likely margin, similar to Ohio, about 9 points. Don't know much about her, but I've heard she's relatively popular, so I'm assuming she'll win re-election. And with the way the state's going, I don't think she'll have much of a problem. Florida, Ron DeSantis is going to win by a likely margin. He's very popular. Um, I'm not. He was very popular, and I think he's getting more popular. If he runs a good campaign with Marco Rubio, which I think he will, he could easily flip a lot of the Miami counties even further red, even more turnout in the Panhandle, Tampa area, and he could win by 7, 8 points. Georgia. A lot of people hate me for this, or I'm assuming a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but I really think Georgia's gone for the Republicans. 2022, I put it as pretty much pure toss-up. Not 2022, I put it as tilt Democrat. 2024, I put it as lean Democrat, and then after that, it's likely to safe. Atlanta is just growing so fast. I don't know how we can keep up, even with the voting laws enacted. I mean, a lot of it didn't go as far, and with the way it's going, with if Brian Kemp's the nominee, for sure it's going Democrat. If Vernon Jones is the nominee, though, I could see it going red with Vernon Jones, but even then, that's a big if. So, yeah, I probably put it as pretty much Democrat, just by a thin margin. If Brian Kemp is the nominee, but if Vernon Jones is the nominee, I'd say it's about 50-50. The great state of Kansas, Laura Kelly, she is relatively popular, but it is Kansas, and she won simply because Republicans split the votes. So I do think she will lose re-election, probably by a very thin margin, probably by around 2 points or so. But I think as long as there isn't a third-party candidate, the Republicans will flip that state. Meanwhile, in Texas, I'd say Greg Abbott wins by a likely, or whoever's the Republican nominee, but Greg Abbott, I'm assuming, he'll win by a likely. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Matthew McConaughey, what he'll do. But I think that's how you pronounce his name. But anyway, he has expressed interest, and if he does run, I think he has a chance at flipping the state. But I'm not 100%. I mean, I don't even know if he's a Democrat, but he'll make it interesting. I'll put it that way. But I still think in the end, even if he does run, Republicans will pull it off. Arizona and Nevada. These are the two most competitive states that will be some of the most competitive. I'm going to start with Nevada. I do think John Lee, if he's the nominee, that's a big if. He's the former mayor of North Las Vegas. He used to be a Democrat, switched parties when the DSA took over. If he is the Republicans' nominee, he will win in Nevada. Mark my words. He is very popular. He will easily win Clark County, probably by about 1.5 points. He'll get turnout in the rest of the state. John Lee, former North Las Vegas mayor, will win the governor election in Nevada if he's the nominee. Because Nevada is one. It trended Republican, and he's just very popular. I mean, the state as a whole is going a little bit Republican. He'll do great with Hispanics. He'll do just very well in general. White working class Hispanics, he'll get both those votes out. As a former Democrat, he'll make the DSA and his opponent look bad. So I do think he will win in Nevada. Looking at Arizona, Arizona is going to be interesting. I think as of now, I'm not really sure where to put Arizona, honestly. I want to put it red, but at the same time, the way it's going and the way the Republican Party is there, I think could go blue. I think Doug Ducey is term limited, and because of that, I'm going to put it as tilt R to pure swing. I'm not going to put pure swing. I think that's kind of dumb when people do that. I do think Arizona will go to the Republicans as of now. A lot can change depending on the nominee. I think that there are good candidates in Arizona for the Republicans. It just depends how they run their campaign and whether or not they get the nomination. So with that, we have 29 Republican seats to 21 Democrat seats. I expect it to be a red wave year. So with that, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you